How many of you know someone that is adopted? How many of you know of a birth parent that gave a child up for adoption? Do you know families that have adopted? Do you know if the adoption was closed or open? My adoption was closed. I have done research and searched throughout the last 10 years trying to find my birth mother. I haven't found her yet. I wish my adoption had been open or legislation had changed for the year I was adopted. I could spend a lot of money and hire a search agency or a private investigator, and I would more than likely find her, but it would have been much easier if my adoption had just been open. You might wonder why. Why even search for my birth mother? Like many people from closed adoptions, I wonder about who I am. I have wondered about my identity since the beginning. I was born December 1962, taken to the hospital 3 days later, and spent the first 3 years of my life in a foster home. Here is the only photo I have. It's in my scrapbook, before my adoption. It's from the Child Welfare Department and was given to my adoptive parents, and then they gave it to me. I wonder about family resemblances. Who do I look like? My mom? My dad? In younger years, I had growth spurts, and I was the tallest kid in my class. I wondered, am I going to be a 6-footer? And because I have 3 daughters myself and 4 siblings in my adopted family, I often wonder, did my birth mother have any other children? Family medical history has also become a concern for people from closed adoptions. I'm constantly asked at medical appointments for myself and my children for pre-existing family conditions. This isn't something I can provide. After all, I'm adopted. Some adoptees want to know why they were given up for adoption. All I want to do is let my birth mother know that I'm okay, and I want her to be okay with the decision she made over 51 years ago. She was brave, and it took great care and an act of love to make the decision she did. The reason I chose to do my speech on adoption is first and foremost because I'm adopted. Because I live in the state of Minnesota and my adoption is closed, my options are limited in finding my birth mother. I decided I wanted to do more research in the area of an open adoption to see if there were any choices available for me to pursue. I don't know if I will ever find my birth mother, but through my research it made me realize the opportunity to have an open adoption would have been nice. It should be considered today and in the future. I found out open adoption can even work for past closed adoptions. My sources to support open adoption come from the Huffington Post and the Washington Times, both of 2012. These have statistics on open to closed adoptions and the timeline. Statistician Brain 2013 incorporates percentages regarding adoptees' social and emotional well-being. Child Welfare Gate 2013, a guide to birth and adoptive families pursuing open or post-adoption contact. Cradle 2004, Encyclopedia of Women's Health. This supports at least some level of open adoption. Is good. CQ Researcher, 1999, Adoption Controversies. This draws upon issues of open adoption and changes instituted by states. And USA Today, 2008. This is a story of a state senator who was an adoptee and how the legislation she passed led to finding out who she is related to by birth. And of course, my own personal experiences with adoption. Each of these sources are important to my speech to show that over the last 20 years, adoptions have moved from closed to open, why this has happened, and the positive effects open adoption has had on this trend. Examples of changing legislation to open records are discussed because my adoption is closed, but others have received the benefit of changed legislation. In the end, I want my audience to understand there is a need for open adoption, and by presenting this concept, that all parties involved can feel good about an extended family. As Brad Imler, president of the American Pregnancy Association, states in the Washington Times, My kids have 8 grandparents that all love them. His children, a result of 2 open adoptions.